Of course. Well, now you're touring in this fabulous Broadway production with Adam Pascal, as you mentioned. What is it like when you guys are on stage? Does it just bring you back? Does it feel like it was when in the old days when you were in the original cast? Are you just smiling at each other and loving it?
Well, I mean, it feels like it did, but it also feels like it now as well, which is very exciting. Though we both feel like we've gotten better, and we just, what I feel with Adam on stage is just this tremendous trust and comfort and connection, and the show is every theatrical experience I think is predicated on how connected the actors are to one another. But especially this show, because this is a show about community, about friendship, about love. And if the actors who are working together don't have some sense of that, I think it's bound to bleed through on stage.
Yeah.
So the fact that we do have such a strong sense of that, I think, also bleeds through on stage into really important and.
Well, and I also want to commend you both for appearing in this tour, because sometimes, and this isn't against any actor or anything like that, but sometimes a show becomes associated with an actor, and it's a special feeling for people who don't get a chance to go to New York to see somebody who was in the original production touring the country. And I say kudos to the two of you, because I think you're probably making this a really special experience for a lot of people. So,
well, it's very nice. I mean, it's very special for us too that this show, which means so much to us, means so much to so many people, and that it continues to be so rewarding in both directions. I mean, I've been in this business for a really long time. I started working, especially when I was 9 years old, which a long time ago, and this is truly a once in a lifetime thing. And for a once in a lifetime thing to keep coming back in as exciting manner as it has so many times over the years is just a bonus. I mean, it's crazy.
You're lucky to do what you love to do, that's for sure.
Yes, I am.
Well, also, you're going to be in town. You're going to do a book signing at Books and Books on Lincoln Road, and this is your book. It is called Without You, a memoir of love, loss, and the musical Rent. And, of course, it probably, as we just discussed, has some of the memories that you mentioned, creating the role of Rent. But tell us some other things about the book.
Well, it's really essentially about a 3-year period, which is why, that's to me what a memoir is. It's a very specific set of events as opposed to like an autobiography, which is sort of like a life survey. Mm-hmm. And it's the 3-year period from when I first auditioned for Rent, which coincided with my mom having a relapse of cancer, and then taking it through the journey of Rent, and then Jonathan Larson passing away, and then my mom, the last year or two of her life before she also passed away during the run of Rent. So it's a memoir that really explores loss and response to loss and moving through all of these the most incredibly fulfilling and the most incredibly the saddest times of my life, both happening at the same time.
Amazing. Well, again, that will be at Books and Books, and that is on Thursday, December 10th at 2:30. You're doing a signing, and you're going to do a little bit of reading, is that right?
It sort of depends on what the bookstore. I actually haven't even talked to the bookstore people what they would like. I'm happy to do reading. I just don't know sometimes how they've set up the format, honestly. I mean, I will certainly sign. I will certainly do whatever talking or reading that anybody would want me to do, and I'm happy to do Q&A, however they have it set up. I did a big Books and Books event at the other location in, I can't remember, if it's Coconut Grove or...
Coral Gables, I believe, yeah.
Coral Gables.
Yeah.
That one, not long after the book first came out, and it was an incredible event. I mean, there were so many people, and the Miami book people were fantastic. So I'm really happy to go back to their store, although it's a different location. But it was one of my favorite events. So.
Yeah, I'm sure you're going to get a big crowd. That's for sure. I did want to mention before we go here, the sudden death of Jonathan Larson. I mean, that's like a showbiz fantasy story when you think about it. What was going on with the cast during that time? You've all worked so hard. You've got this special, brand new, Broadway hadn't seen anything like this before, and then the creator just suddenly dies. It must be heartbreaking.
It was heartbreaking. It was shocking. I mean, he hadn't been feeling well. He had sort of been feeling like kind of flu-y and run down, and we thought, well, it's just stress, or he's a little under the weather, and the next thing we know, we get the call in the morning that he had died of an aneurysm. He's 35 years old. It was absurd. It was ridiculous. horrible, and we all came together. And I mean, it became very clear very quickly, though, that what we would not do was stop. What we had to do was continue the work and make it as fantastic as we could, and cross our fingers that it would have a chance to live on, because it was all that was going to be left of his work. It was going to be his legacy, and we knew how we felt about it, how much we loved it, and we were just hoping that it was going to connect with people the way that we felt it should, and if it did, then it would live on.
And how close was that, his death, to the? Was it already on Broadway, or was it just about to go?
No, it was after the dress rehearsal off Broadway. So he saw one performance, which was an incredible night. I mean, dress rehearsals can be, rough, or they can be great, and this was fantastic. I mean, the audience jumped to their feet, screamed. They surrounded him afterwards, which never happens. I mean, if people surround anybody, or if anybody gets surrounded after a show, it's usually the actors. But the people sought him out and essentially mobbed him because they wanted to meet him. So he had a taste of what was to come, or a sense of the possibility of what was to come, which is somewhat comforting to know that he witnessed that. But it still is amazing that all that's happened with it.
Yeah, all the lives he's touched. Yeah, definitely, and he's really changed Broadway in a lot of ways that have gone on to create other projects that are new and different.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't mean to sound hyperbolic, but he's also changed people's lives. I mean, people use that phrase when they talk about the people who've really connected to Rent. Use that phrase a lot.
Yeah,
this show changed my life, and because it's opened their eyes to things that they didn't before. It's moved them to act. It made an impact on them when they've faced tragedy or difficulty, crisis. It's been a source of comfort. Last week I did a book signing in Milwaukee where we were, and two people specifically told me that while they were in chemotherapy, they would listen to Rent and it would help them through that time. I mean, that's an example.
Sure. Well, even I can say back in the day when I was much younger, it was definitely a life-changing, eye-opening experience for me as well, I have to say that. So I definitely can relate to that. Now, Mark, do you have a website that people can get more information about you and the book?
I have been using MySpace for a few years, which I know MySpace is sort of on the way out, but if you go to MySpace, my page, it does have some updates on it, but I've been recently tweeting a lot, actually. My Twitter name is @albinokid, one word, ALBINOKID, and that's been really fun and cool way to stay connected to people. And then I have had an official website, but because these other means feel more, immediate, been using those more often now. So I haven't had an official website updated in a while. So.
Right. And there's also the Site for Rent website that has information as well about the tour and some great information there, too. And I will call you Anthony. I know I slipped again a minute ago and called you Mark, but I guess...
I didn't even realize.
Anthony Rapp, starring in the Broadway tour of Rent, coming to Miami Beach starting next week. Thanks so much for taking the time again to talk to me.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to being in Miami. It'll be great.